apologizing to me in a card. I don't know.
So you know, I wrote that card obviously before.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Black Book. You already know what time it is, baby. Listen, we're going to talk to you guys about Married at First Sight, episode 11, baby. Listen, hey, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notifications of the uploads, baby. And for those of you who are returnees, baby, mineral gang, mineral gang, you ain't got the minerals, you ain't got the minerals. Yeah. Gay, listen, let's get into the video. You're lean, cuz. Alright, listen, madam. Alright, boom. If you can't handle the heat in the kitchen, get out, baby. Alright, chill. Alright, so, yeah, we're going to talk about, obviously, Brandon and Taylor, first of all. So, for me, just watching it, obviously, Brandon and Taylor, they already had their last episode where they said they're not going to do this no more. Well, Brandon said he's not doing this no more. Obviously, Taylor's organised for them to get together. Interesting, the place that they chose was a nail salon, but hey, ho, we flow. So, obviously, they come out and they meet now. And what I think was interesting was, you know, the first thing I kind of noticed was the fact that when Taylor got him a card, yeah, you know, his instant reaction was a little bit of a shock. And he said, oh, if I knew that you were going to get a card, I would have also got you something. Do you know what I mean? And I felt like he felt a bit ashamed there that, you know, this woman has decided to kind of, you know, let bygones be bygones, and kind of actually do something positive towards him. That's what the Bible says, heap hot coals upon their head. You know what I mean? By showing them love. You understand? Sometimes bring a gift to your enemy and see how your enemy will be scattered. You understand? So the same thing here. She brings that card, and I think it was like something that kind of shifted his mentality for a second or two. What was interesting was the fact that his reaction to what was said in the card. Now, let me be very frank as well. I totally understand him. Taylor has not apologized for this video on Instagram.
But I don't know if it's genuine. I mean, she had so many opportunities to apologize, and here we are now, apologizing to me in a card.
I'm sorry, but you cannot think you were okay and right and justified for doing it. Up until this point, you still feel justified, then we've got a problem. You know, if up until this point you still feel justified in your actions, we've got a problem. You've played it long enough. Yeah, you've done what you need to do. It's okay. Yeah, chasso. You know, we say in tree, which means it's okay. Let it go. Cut it off. Like, just apologize. And for you to apologize, say sorry in a card. I've always said this as well. Apologies, yeah, need to state what you done. They don't just say, I'm sorry because, you know, I know that you're hurt by what I done. I'm sorry. No. Can we state what you actually did? Taylor, explain. I'm sorry. I made an Instagram post. I was angry. I was hurt. I was disappointed. And so I made an Instagram post to hurt you. Yeah? And this post was, you know, was really not the best way to communicate how I was feeling. Done! But instead of she's stalling and dragging her feet. And so, for me, I think to myself, if Taylor can't do this, you know, then that shows an underlying problem. Like, I know you want to try and get him back. I know you want to hit him hard, but this is not the way to do it. You know, you're looking bad yourself. You're looking a very destructive person yourself. You're not looking like somebody who's remorseful for what they've done. Therefore, you sit in the same category, if not worse, than Brandon. Because now, it's no longer about the fact that you've been hurt. You're trying to really drive it home. You've done it once, you've done it twice. It's okay. I apologize and just say, look, my bad. I've made a mistake.
And I thought it would be a nice thing to do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you, kiddo.
Another thing that was also very, I think was rude though, on Brandon's part, again, the disrespectful part, when obviously, you know, she gives him a card, it says, okay, thank you, kiddo. Kiddo. That's something you say to somebody who is a little kid, number one, and two, you don't say it to a grown-ass adult, that, thank you, kiddo. Especially when you're not bantering, and you're not in a good place. Kiddo is demeaning. It's a show of, I don't respect you. All right, kiddo. You know, that's the kind of thing that a boss would say to an employee just to try and get that employee to understand, know the levels. Do you know what I mean? And that's the same thing that Brandon issued here. It's like, all right, kiddo. And it's like, blood, why are you saying all right, kiddo? Maybe he said it before, I don't know. But from what I'm hearing, and the time and the season of it, it ain't a good look. You know, to say those kind of things. Like, words have power to really show where someone's heart is at. And that's what the Bible says. You know what? Out of the abundance of the heart flows the issue of life. But actually, it says as well, it's not what comes out of a man that defiles. It's not what goes into a man that defiles him. It's what comes out of him. So if foul words are coming out of your heart, out of your mouth, it's because there's foulness in your heart. And obviously, I just kind of noticed obviously her body language as well. Like there was parts where she was looking at him, and it looked like she just wanted acceptance. She just wanted him. She just wanted him to love her. She just wanted it to work. And that's why I said, like, I understand that what Taylor did was absolutely wrong, and I don't agree with it at all, and I'm not gonna accept that. But I feel she's genuine in the fact that she wanted something to work. She wanted this to work. There's a longingness in her eye when she looks at him, unless she's an amazing freaking actor, where she looked at him and she wanted acceptance, but he refused to give it. He just wouldn't be warm. He just wouldn't do it, you know. Once he's done, he's done. Like, do you know what I mean?
I don't know. I just feel like you just won't let things go. Every time I meet with you, I expect conversations to go better than they go.
And what I think is really concerning with Taylor and Brandon is also as well that, you know, she wanted them to kind of quash things and move things forward. And I was like, you can't quash things and move things forward, Taylor, as well, when things are not sorted out. Now, you yourself understood this, because when it came to a point in time when you were feeling a certain way towards Brandon's behaviour, you couldn't move on because of his behaviour. So how are you expecting him to move on forward and forget things when you two haven't apologised? You know, and he made a point that he had apologised at least. Now, whether that apology was super genuine from him because he was moving mad, anyway, fair enough. But he apologised. And you haven't apologised, and so and that weak apology that you did, it's not an apology. And so therefore, how do you expect to move forward? That's a hypocrisy. And that's what we don't like. You know, you can't expect someone to behave a certain way that you're not even willing to behave in. How is that going to work? You know, this is where we have to check ourselves and make sure we know where we're coming from. Okay, I'm asking you to do this, but are you doing that? Do you understand? That's the most critical, important point, I think, with the Taylor and Brandon situation. And just to kind of end it on the point as well, I felt like, obviously, towards the end, I thought there was a little smirk from her face. And I was like, is this girl playing? I'm not sure 100%. You know, so I wasn't sure that was what she was trying to do. But I think with Taylor and Brandon, obviously it's best that they divorced. We're happy that they divorced. We're happy they didn't continue this relationship. Both parties have done things that are going to hurt the individual, mainly Brandon. But I must admit, Taylor's stubbornness in dealing with this issue of not being able to apologise is concerning. Because if that's the kind of pride that she can hold for that, this is normal. Because listen, even when you're a prideful, even when you're a person who's not really a person that likes to hurt people, right? Let's just be real, let's put it that way. You know, there's some people in this life where they haven't got the bad bone in them at all, cuz, you understand? They're very soft. When they try to do something that will hurt you and be malicious, they can't hold on to it very long. They struggle. Because it's just not in their DNA. But this is in Taylor's DNA. To be able to hold this and say, I'm not going to apologise, it's in her DNA. This is no longer about punishing him. This is about her DNA. This is what she is emotionally DNA'd for. She will do that to somebody else. Simple as. Because to keep it this long, shows. Alright, let's talk about Zach and Mindy as well. Zach and Mindy. So Zach went to meet Mindy at the ice. And I think what was very interesting was the fact that the first thing I noticed was the hug. Absolutely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious.
What's up?
Good to see you.
Likewise, good to see you. How are you?
Good. You gonna skate with me today?
I think so.
Alright.
Fam, man made sure that his left arm wasn't coming around her body. It stayed at the door. Now, maybe he was trying to balance her. I don't know. But that was a weak ass hug, yeah? To put your left arm on the door and just not really hug her very well. She could have come off the ice and come onto the normal place where you were and hugged her properly, but he didn't. It was a weak ass hug, fam. So that instantly told me again, we know where Zach is at. We just need to see what kind of bullcrap he's going to come up with. And we see that there's some bullcrap that's going to come up. There's a major bullcrap that comes up because in dealing with Zach and Mindy, we get this conversation where Zach is saying that she's done something and we don't know what she's done. Yeah, he doesn't allude to it what she's done. We don't know what she did, and this is something that I feel like Zach is doing to try and really get Mindy and make her feel a certain way about the fact that he hasn't got close. Listen, whatever she did, yeah, that was not the cause of why you couldn't get close. You've made it very clear and very known why you couldn't get close. So you can't now change the narrative as to why you're not getting close. You haven't been honest with me from the very beginning. No, dark bro, listen. That's not why you've not got close. Do not gaslight, or I shouldn't say gaslight. Do not try to use something else as a reason as to your poor behavior.
Coming into this, you haven't been honest with me. And
just be honest and say you haven't been. If you feel like you haven't been on the person, been honest. Look, this is how I feel. I don't think you've been honest in the situation. Simple. But to pull it on as if that's the reason why, almost as if that's why you've not got close to the girl, is atrocious. And then not to mention what she's done, but to say, oh, you've done something, and she doesn't know what the frick she's done, leaves that person in a state of limbo and in the dark, into the point that where she had to go and do her own investigation. So he let out slip a couple of little things where he said, he mentioned about her friend, and it's interesting because it's like, hold on a minute, why are you having, why are you having conversations with my friend? Don't worry, it's not Corona. She's like, I haven't drank any water. Now, why are you having conversations with my friend? That just lets me know, like, bro, why are you having conversations with your friend? What's going on? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're accusing me of something I don't know what I've done, but you're telling me that I should know. Well, if I should know, let me know, so I can address it and tell you this could be. And she said as well, this could be a misunderstanding, and all of this is just another way of Zach to deflect from the fact that he's been an absolute prick. And I say that with genuine love. Zach, stop being a prick. Yeah? Stop being a prick. It reminds me of Luke's behaviour from the 2 seasons before. It's like you're just intentionally trying to go on as if there's no reason as to why you're not behaving as you should. You've not moved into the house. You said you're going to seriously consider it. You have not done it. So, we know why you haven't done it. You understand?
these are the type of things that we need to create attraction. Do I get a little penguin?
Just at the ice ring as well, I think I noticed something. He said these are the things that we need to do to bring us closer. I've noticed this. He said the same thing when they were in Panama and they went for a little trip, you know, on a boat. He said, obviously, these are the things that need to bring us closer. So his love language is quality time activities. He likes to do things. As he's doing those things, he's learning, he's understanding, he's deepening his thoughts around you, because that's his love language. That's how he understands it. That's how he receives it. And potentially that's how he gives it as well. So the same thing he did in Panama, where he said about, I'm learning from, you know, I'm beginning to, you know, get close to you through this. Same thing he said on the ice rink, you know, and he was very competitive on the ice rink as well, trying to learn as much as possible as he could, trying to be better all the time. That's his nature. But what we see is that he says this activity is a way to get closer, and that must be mean to us that this is the type of thing, activity-wise, that draws him towards Mindy. It won't be enough, because once a guy does not find a person attractive, 95% of the time, I'm going to say it honestly, 95% of the time, these blokes will not feel comfortable being able to, these blokes will not feel comfortable having, you know, these guys won't feel comfortable trying to make this relationship work, because they just don't feel attracted to the person. Then when they get to home, it's interesting, because obviously they're having a conversation and Mindy's discussing with Zach, and the first thing I noticed was that her position. So she's doing almost like the fetal position. So where her, you know, her knees are up to her chest, arms are wrapped around her legs. And this is oftentimes a defensive position. It's like you know, almost like when you do a fetal position on the floor, you lie on your side and you do that. Why? Because it's like that helps people feel a sense of comfort, and you're compact, you're all intact. And it's almost like as if how you're feeling, which is that you feel very small, you feel helpless, that comes through the fact that that's the position you're presenting out in the physical. So how you're thinking forms itself into how you behave. And so this thinking of defensiveness and feeling defeated, feeling like, you know what, you've got no defense and you feel like you're helpless, that position where you wrap your arms around your legs oftentimes comes in. Now some people do it because they're comfortable watching TV or something like that, but we're talking about a conversation that's happening. You're responding to a conversation. It's slightly different.
Somebody's texting me who I don't want in my life at all. I just remove them from everything so I don't have their number accessible to me.
And then we find out, obviously, that this friend who spoke was then Lindsay, her friend. And, you know, I think to myself, Mindy, what must be going through Mindy's head thinking about the fact that, hold on a minute, you were talking to someone else who was my friend about a situation that I don't know about. and now I know who it is. I don't know what would go through her head. So when she calls Lindsay, Lindsay's actual you know, explanation don't really add up. First of all, why are you having a conversation? Do you see what I'm saying? Why are you having a conversation? And it's like, oh, she reached out originally because, you know, she doesn't feel like she was treating her right or whatever. And I'm like, blood, why did you still reach out though? You were not part of the process. Why did you reach out? And then you're having to explain how you've deleted tweets, conversations, and texts between you two, because when you don't like someone's thing or whatever, you start to delete. Wow, you're lying. You're lying. And Mindy knew that something went right. Yeah? Mindy knew instantly both of these two are not correct, because no one's deleting texts. Why would you delete the text? If the texts were going to be incriminating of him, you could have passed that to her. You know what I'm saying? But you didn't. You deleted them. Do you understand? Because it's incriminating. That's why. Do you understand? And why did a friend feel the need to have a conversation with him without her being present, Mindy? Without consulting Mindy? That's also a concern as well. You're doing too much. Why are you going beyond my peaks? Why are you going beyond me and having a conversation that I haven't had yet? Then obviously he mentioned the fact that, you know what, they had only spoken once on the phone, but they had exchanged obviously Insta messages as well. I always say this to you, listen guys, listen, phone numbers don't mean nothing nowadays. If you've got someone's Instagram, you can message them 24/7, blood. And that's the biggest problem, bro. Like, social media access, crazy. You know, because you no longer need, beforehand you had to worry about someone calling you, babe. Now, you have to worry about the fact that she might wake up at 2 o'clock to reply to a message, my guy. You know what I'm saying? So, the fact that it started in the Instagram DMs and then ended up on a phone call is very, very alarming. Not only that, he said it happened once, but when Lindsay was saying it happened 2 or 3 times, which means, what's the point of this lying? Something has happened that both of you don't want me to know. Because there's no need for you to lie. You understand? There's no need for you guys to come up with different stories. And then the friend Lindsay said something which was, she slipped up. She said, "Oh, we said we'll talk to each other after the filming is done." Sorry, why are you gonna have conversation after the film is done? What do you need to be talking to him for? What is it that you're gonna be having a conversation about? This is a clear boundary violation from a friend, where you've overstepped your mark. You've gone to have a conversation with what intention, we don't know. Why you've decided to do it, we don't know. And you've not consulted the person who's within the relationship. So therefore, at the moment, you're looking very suspect. And then to add, you're going to talk to Zach after the conversation. Whoa, after the film is done. That friend is so suspect, so dangerous, they are no longer a friend.
And you can't tell me F you and we have a difficult conversation.
Yeah, then don't tell me you're checking out.
I like Derek and Katie, I really do. But one thing I don't like is, you know, I always like I told you about hypocrisy. I don't like hypocrisy. I don't like injustice. Derek is complaining that, you know what, Katie's gonna have to. Well, Katie says she's gonna keep her house, and he's had a little bit of a moan about it. And I'm like, Derek, how are you moaning about the situation with her going to not sell her house when you've told the girl you don't know if you're gonna fall in love in 8 weeks? So she has to keep her cards close to her chest. Because you're saying, in a sense, you don't know if this is going to work. And so when you do that, what do you expect is going to happen? When you're saying that you don't know if in 8 weeks you're going to fall in love, I told you, I said, I had no problem with you saying that, but you got to come with the consequences. And the consequences are simply this. You've now made that person feel unstable, and they feel like they're not in a committed relationship with you anymore. Do you feel me? So now, what you've got a case of is, she's going to make sure she keeps certain things back, because I've got to make sure I look after myself, as she said herself. And then obviously during the course of the conversation, there's some interesting things that happened on the table, because, you know, he said, obviously the reason why he said shut up, was it, or F off, sorry, was because, you know, the reason why he said F off was because of the fact that she had said that, oh, what did she say? At her because she said something. And I was like, bro, like, that can't be an excuse as to why you swear at somebody. Because I disagree with what you said. That can't be a reason why you swore. And that is just showing us a level of immaturity. And I'm not talking about his age. I'm talking about the fact that, look, someone can be immature emotionally. And so that swearing is maybe a sign of that emotional immaturity to deal with certain stressful situations. And what I noticed obviously was his body language. You know, at first, you know, he was laying back, he was chilled, everything like that. And then when this conversation got serious, you know, he leant in and his hands were there, and he was right behind his clasped hands. And it's a bit like what I said to you guys with the Reaver thing in Ready to Love. That same position. You know, when someone's feeling defensive, when they're feeling that they need to defend themselves, they need to keep themselves unvulnerable. That is a fortified entrance. That's a fortified position. That's a fortified body language, body position. And so what you're saying is, I don't want nothing to penetrate. I don't want nothing to get past. You understand? And which I hadn't really seen from Derek up until now. But the fact that he even says he can't get full love in 8 weeks, I guess that was the early indication of him feeling like he was keeping his cards close to his chest, and he was refusing to be vulnerable in all aspects. That was interesting as well. And then just at the end of it as well, you know, he actually said, listen, you know, so he just said, can you let it be? And he actually switched his body position. He came out of the clasp and then relaxed. He said, just let it be. At that point, the guy is done. He's tired of fighting. He doesn't want to have a fight with her. I just think he sees this woman. I don't think he sees his future in this woman, if I'm honest. I think there's or if that, it's because of fear. And his parents obviously had a divorce in it, so maybe that's played a huge part in the reason why he can't see himself fall in love in 8 weeks. And I think that experts need to get involved in here and actually do some psychoanalysis as to why he may not feel like he can fall in love in 8 weeks. 8 weeks is a very long time. Let me be very honest with you. Most people fall in love before then, so 8 weeks is a very, very long time, especially the intensity of how you're spending time with each other as well. For him not to fall in love. But like I said, that part where he said obviously F you, just because he said she was checking out, and remember, she actually the real story was he said F you before she said she's checking out. So this is something that he couldn't control his emotion at that point, and decided to strike out verbally. But guys, that's part one. We're going to do Mecca and Michael after as well. Hope you guys like, share and subscribe. Click on the bell button down below for the notifications. Hey, you know what we do, baby. I like it, baby. I like the way. Appreciate you guys. Stay locked, stay loaded.